Yes.
You said I committed a crime in California.
Oh, Pandazzi.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
They said something.
We can't say
Oh yeah,
Pandazzi because they'll probably think that we're making fun of his dyslexia or some stupid crap like that.
Oh, why does he bring that up every show?
I know, right? Like seriously, he's like, oh, they
Okay, to
made
be
fun.
fair,
They
I did
made
not
fun
know
of
he
my.
had dyslexia when I chose this name.
It is so cold.
They're making fun of my learning disability.
I take it back, Pandazzi.
Don't take it back.
Christian,
I take it like mostly.
at least
back.
try to do a voice. Try to
Yeah,
imitate
come on.
Dan. Come on.
Come
Make
on,
some effort.
do it.
Guys, I'm making a novel prediction.
There you go.
I
you.
want to hear about the novel prediction. I want to hear about it.
It hurts. Okay, so guys, I asked Steven what you said to ask him, and he said that he was right and you were wrong. So I did proper investigative channels.
I
And
can
then you
already hear.
predicted that I would disagree in a novel way.
And then I fat shamed a
Tim-
bunch of people and accused everybody else of fat shaming people, but it was
Oh,
really
you
Yeah,
were
me
just
fat
saying to
shaming
lose a
people.
few pounds. I mean, I don't know, just
I
general
read a novel
population.
back when I was. I read a novel just the other day. It was, it was Clifford the Big Red Dog. What a good novel that was. So it made a couple of novel predictions. It made a prediction that Clifford was a dog, and he was red, and that he was really big. So wow.
Okay, so the Tim in the chat said that Albert Pike, has a very famous quote concerning evolution. Can't recall what the quote is. So I went on a little hunt. And
hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, it's Dan Pazzi.
Wait.
It's Dan Pazzi.
Wait.
Good to be here.
Okay, I was in the middle of a sentence, please.
Shut
It
up,
might not be
David.
the most interesting thing in the world, but still, I've been waiting to say this for quite a while.
He said I'm doing a Gollum voice. Oh, God.
Let her speak.
Please
Thank you.
continue.
I was looking for the famous quote about evolution made by Albert Pike. I have found several quotes where he uses the word revolution, but that's not really the same thing. Otherwise, I can't find anything about revolution. I found one site where one of the quotes were the Second World War, and I'm gonna say that I closed that. I didn't feel I had any reason to look further into that site because Albert Pike died in like the 1890s. And wouldn't know anything about Nazism or anything like that.
Well, you take the word revolution, right, and then you
But-
take the R off, and you have evolution. And Aiden has called me the R word several times, exposing his secular humanist heart and what it really believes. So, yeah, what about that, deviant?
Yeah, what about
Well,
that?
he does have. I did find another quote where there is one, or another site where there is one quote that's in regard to creation, and it says, "One man is equivalent to all creation. One man is a world in miniature." So that's. I'm not. It's not like I'm saying you are liars. I'm saying I cannot find that quote. They must have found it very deep in the interwebs. In general, the quotes have very little to do with anything akin to evolution. The universal soul is the supreme reason and absolute justice for the mind, mathematical and practical truth for the body, the quintessence and combination of light and the gold.
I've been saying that for years.
I know. I know, it's so spot on.
Well, I came in to answer your questions you were asking. So, did you guys actually want to hear answers or?
Not really.
So,
Yeah.
We prefer predictions.
Deviant. Now, when you asked, actually, it was kind of a statement. Nobody who said Dan wasn't going or Dan doesn't do mission. If somebody didn't answer and they knew, Deviant, would that be a
No.
good...
I'm sorry, Dan. I don't want to really interrupt you. The question had to do with, or a statement, as you said, it was a statement more than a question. When you and Pike were talking, Christian Pike actually commended you for doing missionary work. And I didn't hear anyone, but I was only half listening. I didn't hear anyone accuse you of not doing missionary work when you were there. So
okay, so well, to clarify, Christian, why did I actually say, hey, do you know what I'm doing next week? Because wasn't that your statement that I don't do mission work? That I don't do
never said that you don't. I've never said that you don't do mission work. I've never said that once.
Okay, so that's one, and that's why I want to get together. And I thank you, Kristen, because you said, why don't I wait till I get back? You gave me a message yesterday because I told Gigi, no, I'm not ready. I want to, be able to have these statements, and you guys, not like you guys like this, that I'm driving and you guys are doing the backstabbing. But you're the one yesterday, Christian, who called me a coward because I didn't want to do it last night.
Correct. Let me explain that statement.
Okay,
you
please.
told me that you couldn't do it last night because you got busy, and then you wound up on your channel doing nothing all night. So yeah, you just chickened out.
No, that's called. What did I say? See, that's where you got a problem there, Christian. Is that I said I wasn't ready with
you picked the date.
Gigi, did I tell you we'll do it from the Philippines because I wasn't ready to?
No, but before that, you set the appointment originally.
Well, I've set it originally for Saturday, and I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready on Sunday.
BBM's ready.
Okay, so I guess
I have dozens and dozens of receipts.
Some would say prepared.
Okay, so
and clips.
Ooh, got clips.
I would like to state that I too have what the kids call receipts.
Yeah, so we're good. Like whenever you get ready.
Yeah, whenever you're ready.
Very good. So Gigi's setting the timestamps because it's his show. He's able to throw up the timestamp stuff, and he's very good at it. I'm not, as you guys know.
Why can't, are you finding the timestamps for him, or are you making him do the work?
Gigi, you can answer that. I thought he already did earlier.
He put the.
Can you change your name after you're on stage?
Oh, did you put him up to like finding a specific set amount of timestamps that you had in order to construct your little narrative here, Dan? Is that what you did? Did you have Gangster Ghost work pro bono for your little case that you've been building here to try and defend how you're like not a scumbag somehow?
All that I've figured out that you're just as big a scumbag. So I've got Jesus. You don't. You have no power above you to keep you from fat shaming.
No, but you don't have Jesus, though, Dan. According to the scripture, you don't.
He's got my friendship.
Not eternal, and that's what.
You got like $40 from some island too.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure according to that book that you claim that you've read, you don't have Jesus either, Dan. So that's okay. I'm pretty sure we're on even footing as far as that's concerned.
Well, very cool, because that puts you in the Pike camp, and the
Albert Pike
Mark
camp
doesn't say that though.
Yeah, Albert Pike camp. That's a good one. That's a good one. See, unlike anything you've ever said, Dan, that was like really clever and like witty and like to the point. Like, when have you ever said anything like that,
Albert
Dan?
Pike in your background? Can you illuminate us?
What's that?
Why did you guys decide to add Howard Pike to your background with the name Pike on his chest?
I'm not the tech guy, but I'm sure
Aren't
it
you
You're
has.
the
freaking
president.
I'm
president,
sure.
though?
Do you think President Biden is over pushing buttons to send missiles? No, a president. You guys.
He quite
Um,
literally is the one with the
No, I like
nuclear
it. Let him
football that
continue. I
has
like
the
it.
authority to launch intercontinental ballistic missiles at a moment because he's the only one that has the clearance of doing. So it's a bit of a crappy example, Dan.
the guy who
Bit of a
can't get off
crappy
the
example.
stage.
This is Dan's
The
way of
guy
selling
who
out
cannot.
Sweden.
I said missiles, not nukes. So is he?
It's sorry, it's an
is he driving the
intercontinental
ship?
ballistic what, Dan? It's an intercontinental
driving-
ballistic what?
Is that the only missiles there are?
ICBM stands for intercontinental
Are
ballistic
there
what,
any
Dan?
other missiles that are being fired right now?
See, this is the definition of Dan, because he brings up missiles, I bring up missiles, and then he has to shift the goalpost when I've brought up how his
No,
point
you're
is
bringing up
stupid and doesn't
different
apply to the real
missiles.
world. Now all of a sudden
You
it's,
are
well, does that
bringing
apply
up-
to every missile that's ever existed, Aiden? Have you thought about the 12th century Han Dynasty
Dan
missiles that they
brings up-
deployed in the Second
brings
War of
up
Chinese Heavenly Succession,
strategic
Aiden? Did you ever
missiles,
think about
not
those?
nuclear. Dan brings up missiles that aren't nuclear.
No, you didn't say
Aiden
not
brings-
nuclear. You literally just said the word missiles. You didn't say not nuclear. You're adding context that didn't exist before, Dan. But that's what you
And
always do.
as-
You always
as-
try to sneak things
as
in the back door when you think nobody's
intellectual-
noticing, when you
as
think
an
that nobody's looking.
intellectual-
No, it's not going to
as an
work, Dan.
intellectual, you should
Yeah,
have-
as an intellectual, I can
wasn't
point out how
talking
you
about
tried
nuclear
doing that
missiles.
and how it's like
No,
really
not me,
obvious that you're
the
trying to
one.
sneak things into the back door when nobody's trying to notice. No, I noticed, Dan, because I am a little bit more intellectual than you are. So as an intellectual, I
that's why
impugn you as a
I called
non-intellectual.
you out on fat shaming. You're intellectual, and I told Gigi,
you're already running there. You're already running there.
You
Go
guys
ahead,
were
bring
just
it up,
on it.
Dan. Bring
You
it up and
guys
get
were
banned.
just-
Bring it
you
up and get
guys
banned.
were
Bring it up and
did
get
you-
banned, Dan. Bring it up
did
and
you
get
guys
banned.
not
Bring it
bring
up and get
fat
banned.
shaming?
Bring it
Did
up and
you
get banned.
guys- did
Bring
you
it up
guys
and get
bring
banned.
up-
Please
Did
let
you
him
My
talk.
bring up fat
ancestor,
shaming? I heard you guys
Albert
talking about
Pike.
fat shaming. I think it's an evil thing, don't you?
Bring it up and get banned, Dan. What? Go ahead and elaborate on what you're talking about in terms of fat shaming, Dan. What are you talking about?
I did it privately with you.
No, but in relation to who, Dan? Who did you say that in relation to?
I said that in relation to my mother. Ask Jay.
Oh, yeah, no. Is that
No,
the
no,
only
you-
person you said that in relation to, Dan? No. But I'm not.
You mentioned Aiden's name in your stream.
Last night.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I will apologize that because I thought I said the Canadian goose.
That is
Oh,
his
because
name.
that somehow is not you talking about me, right? Like in your weird, messed up worldview, if you don't directly bring up my name, you're somehow not talking about me, even though everybody already knows that you're talking about me. You see, I thought that once, and then I graduated to the 3rd grade and realized that that's a really stupid thing because everybody
that's where
ultimately
your
realizes who
fat
I'm talking
shaming
about
is.
anyways, Dan.
Your fat shaming is still a 3rd grade thing, so you haven't advanced.
You're the one
to
that
3rd
fat.
grade.
You're the one that fat shamed.
No. What I said.
Yeah, you did.
Let me clarify. I said, Aiden, when you fat shame, why would you do that? Now, Gigi, are you
That's
around?
not what you said.
I read the
That's
text.
not what
I
he
know
said.
that's not what you said.
Yeah, Dan's
there's a
literally
cat
just
a lot.
lying right now. He's lying.
How
You
many
want me to-
texts did we go
Dan is
over?
lying. Dan is a
You want me to-
liar.
You want me
How
to
many
read the
texts
text?
did
You want
we
me to
go
read the
over
text,
that?
Aiden?
No, don't.
Okay.
Let Dan speak for himself because
Okay.
Dan's words can speak for
Let-
themselves. Dan is not
Was that the
saying
only
his
message
words.
we did?
Dan
Was
is
that
not
the
saying his words because he knows that what he said is absolutely disgusting. And who he said it about was somebody who had nothing to do with any of this online discourse
Right.
whatsoever. What I said was said towards somebody that engages in our online community, in our online discourse. And what Dan said was towards somebody who has nothing to do with any of it whatsoever. And he's not going to bring up what he specifically said because even somebody with as messed up as a moral compass as Daniel Pazzi realizes that what he said was fundamentally abhorrent and messed up. So go ahead, Dan. Prove me wrong and say it.
Well, yeah.
Prove me
my
wrong,
point-
Dan. Prove me wrong, Dan, and say it.
My point.
Prove me wrong.
Why are you fat
Aiden,
shaming?
Come
shut
on,
up and let him
Dan.
speak.
Prove me wrong and say it.
Shut up, Aiden, and let him speak.
Thank
It's-
you.
No, because
Deviant.
he's not. No, because he's not actually going to say it, Deviant. Because he's not going to say, "You don't know what he said, Deviant."
No, I don't.
Well,
No, you don't.
Aiden-
But
Aiden,
let me rest assured that what he said was something that I don't think you would very much so approve of either, Tress.
Oh,
Let's let him
I
lie.
fully
Let's let
believe
him
you.
lie about it, though.
I just want one person at a time talking because it's very, very loud and I'm, yeah.
Prove me wrong and say what it was, Dan.
Well, I'll go back so we can do. I'm doing that. You guys, you can keep on. You can keep on squawking while I go back to the first messages. Go ahead, Aiden.
I got
No, I'm going to keep it silent, and I'm just going to let the abject silence that is your vacuous existence speak for itself, Dan.
So very good. Again, that my point. Aiden will not stop talking if somebody else is talking. But once somebody said, "Go ahead, Aiden," I'll look for our conversations, which was a lot of them. It wasn't just one. But when you kept doubling down, oh, there's no problem with fat shaming. When you fat shame,
Actually, I didn't say that there's no problem. I said kick rocks, Dan. I said kick rocks. I said kick rocks, Dan, is what I said. You're trying to put words in my mouth.
Well, that
But
came
you
later.
know for a fact that all that I said to you was kick rocks. That's all I said. And that's what I said to you when you prompted the comment that you know I'm talking about. Go back and look at that, Dan, and you'll find that all that I said when you said those words to me was kick rocks, and you couldn't deal with that because you kept trying to provoke me to anger. You kept trying to get me to get all frustrated and to send you a message with leading responses because that's all you do, Dan. You try to set people up with loaded questions. You try to lead them along on this little rabbit trail that you have pre-set up for them, and you try to get them to say things that you already have orchestrated in order for them to say, like a manipulator, like a serpent, like a snake in the grass. That's all you are, Dan. You're not an interrogator like Christian Pike called you. You're an inquisitor. Because inquisitors do that while knowing full well that they could not stand up to that very same treatment themselves. That's why I enjoy subjecting you to it.
Is it evil, though?
Did you find it yet, Dan?
No, I'm still looking. Is it
Yeah.
He's not still looking. He knows exactly what it is.
He's still looking. No, he's still looking, Christian.
There goes Christian again.
In the conversation where all I said to him was kick rocks over and over again, and he said horrible message after horrible message after horrible message, trying to provoke me time and time again to say something horrible to him back. Yeah, I'm sure that you're having a really hard time looking for that, Dan.
Why go down with the Proverbs guy sinking ship?
Oh no, he's looking for it, Gangster Ghost. Let's be quiet. Let's not break his focus.
Gangster, what was our conversation last night?
Gangster, help me, Gangster. Please, help me. Bail me out of this. I'm looking really awful here, just like I did last time, Gangster. Please.
Gangster, what was our conversation last night?
Oh, I asked you, please don't bring up Mrs. Aiden. And you said, I forgot what
Look how he manipulated Gangster Ghost into being the one that brought it up first. Does anybody else catch that?
Yeah, and that's nice.
Anybody else catch? Anybody else how Dan manipulated Gangster Ghost in that question into bringing up something that he didn't want to take the heat and bringing up for? See, once again, Dan, you thought you could just like sneak that one into the back door. You thought you could just sneak that one past? No, I didn't say it. I just manipulated Gangster Ghost into saying it. Shut up.
Gangster,
shut up, Dan.
Did I say anything when you came and you texted me? You said that Aiden told you to tell me don't say it anymore. He didn't have man enough except for say kick rocks.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. You're able to say whatever you want, Dan. As a matter of fact, I encourage that your awful, malignant, horrible excuse of a personality show itself for everybody to see.
Gangster,
that's why you're trying to pull this up. Hey, Dan, have you pulled it up yet? Hey, Dan, have you pulled it up yet, Dan? Have you pulled it up? You said you were pulling it up earlier.
We've had a lot of chats.
Oh, yeah, right. A lot of chats where I just told you to kick rocks over and over again. Dan, pull it up. Stop trying to divert.
Did you ever kick any of those rocks?
Oh, he kicked them the entire time. As a matter of fact, he kept kicking them harder and harder, and that's why he resorted to saying the awful things that he did, was because he was trying to provoke me into saying something. And much like a school grader, much like a elementary school student, I should say, Dan just like resorted to the most base thing he possibly could in order to try to get a response out of me, and he didn't get one, and it frustrated him so
like
much.
you're fat shaming to begin with?
It frustrated him so much.
You're fat shaming to begin with is what started it, Aiden.
I couldn't get Aiden all riled up by bringing up somebody who had nothing to do with anything, so now I'm getting all upset. I'm Dan Posey. I'm a 65-year-old man who is still trying to get into stupid, inane internet drama because I have accomplished nothing with myself. Great job, Dan.
How many awards do you have?
Great job.
How many
Can I
awards
add
do you
something
have,
real
Aiden?
quick? Can I add something real quick?
Let me finish this. Aiden's, how many awards do you have?
I'll answer that right as soon as you answer me what you said, Dan. Right as soon as you pull up those conversations, I'll tell you what, I'll answer right after that because you're the one that's on first. Who's on first? Dan's on first because he said he was going to pull something up that never materialized. So how about you do that first, buddy?
Well, let's prove Christian.
No, let's prove your original claim, you charlatan. Go back and find it.
Let's prove Christian a liar.
I don't think that'll be able to be done.
Well, you said I wasn't looking up stuff.
Here's the conversation that we had between me and Dan. No. This is the conversation between me and Dan that Dan said he was looking for earlier. This is exactly what Dan was talking about before. This isn't something that's apropos of nothing whatsoever.
So
this isn't an example of Dan just trying to shift the topic over to something else for the umpteenth time. Let's just move on to something else. Aiden's got me pinned down on something. Let's just jump over to something else like a little weasel. No, Dan, you're not going to get away with it.
I'm not getting away with any big things.
I know you're not going to get away. Yeah, I know you're not getting away with anything. You're trying to get away with plenty, and I'm not going to let you get away with anything whatsoever, Dan.
Like I told Gigi, as soon as you stop fat shaming, and if you weren't fat shaming, I wouldn't have brought it up. The reason
Dan, you used it as an excuse. You used it as a pretense to bring up somebody who had nothing to do with anything about this whatsoever. You used it as a pretense to get me angry, Dan. You used it as a pretense to get me angry, and it failed. You used it as a pretense to try and piss me off in that little conversation with you, and that's why you won't bring up the actual conversation. You won't bring up the conversation.
The evil of your heart, Aiden, is that you're
No,
lying
Dan,
about
you're the one that said that you were going to bring up the conversation, and the conversation hasn't materialized. Hey, Dan, where's the conversation, buddy? Where's the conversation?
What is this fat shaming you are talking about, Dan?
Aiden can tell you that.
No, Dan, actually, you can speak for yourself, you weasel.
So Aiden continually fat shames. What was it? The list. You didn't do one of them. Homophobic. You made homophobic or racist.
To who?
What does this have to do with fat shaming? What does this have? She asked you about fat shaming, Dan. She asked you about fat shaming, Dan Posey.
Right. Yeah. You fat shamed Lupin. So,
Oh, yeah, so anyway, sexism and racism. No, I don't think those have anything to do with fat shaming, Dan. So do you mind, sticking on the topic for 2 seconds?
A list of...
No, but that doesn't have anything to do with fat shaming, does it, though, Dan?
Is fat shaming socially acceptable? Let's take a vote here. A vote.
Is what you said towards me socially acceptable, Dan?
I was trying to get you to admit...
Is what you said towards me socially acceptable, Dan? No, but I'm asking you something, though, Dan. Is what you said towards me socially acceptable? Yeah.
Because you...
No, but what is what you said to me socially acceptable, though? Yes or no?
If you're fat shaming of...
See, he won't answer the question. He won't answer the question. Dan's not going to answer the question. He's not going to answer the question. He's not interested.
It's okay.
Keeps dodging the question over and over and over again. He's never going to actually address the thing that I say.
Deviant.
He's trying to appeal to everybody else in the conversation. Trying to appeal to everybody else in the conversation, grasping at straws, trying to turn people against each other. Here's Dan Posey tactic number 3. Let's try and turn people against each other.
Deviant has her own mind. You guys don't want it. Deviant, is it all right to fat shame anybody?
In general, no.
In general, okay.
In general, no.
Okay.
When I say in general, that is because it is, of course, as all things, it's a case of
context.
Yeah, because let's say if someone treats you like trash, you have no reason to treat them any better than how they have been treating you. You
No,
can, of course.
Deviant, you're using nuance right now,
Okay.
Deviant, and my argument hinges on you not
Oh.
using any nuance here
Let me-
right now.
Can I say something?
Okay, so
Can I say
here
something?
was the rule.
Shut the hell! Okay, shut
Let
the
me get
hell
the
up!
rule right.
Hey Dan, shut up.
Because- so
Hey
let me
Dan,
get
shut
the
up.
rule-
Hey
well, let's
Dan,
get the
hey Dan,
rules first.
hey Dan,
Be quiet.
hey Dan,
Be
hey Dan, shut
quiet.
up.
You
Dan,
guys
shut up.
asked me
Hey,
on
Dan.
the answer questions.
Hey Dan,
So we're
hey
still on the
Dan,
fat shaming thing.
hey Dan,
Is
shut
it
up.
all right to
Hey Dan,
fat shame?
Shut
So,
Go ahead.
Dan,
hey Dan, pause it.
Dan,
Shut up.
please be quiet. So, not only did you text this thing to Aiden, but you doubled down on the show last night and did the same thing then. So it's not like this was an accident, for one thing. And I would say that talking to someone else in the community is completely different than bringing up somebody's significant other. And if you
That's
don't
your
see
opinion.
the difference between those two,
That's your
then
opinion.
I feel sorry for you. Well, it's everybody's opinion. I check for yours.
Fat shaming, fat shamed my dead mother. So we have a
No, I
different
didn't.
opinion.
No, I
You
didn't.
say so.
He's just trying to. You're the
let's
one that
see.
invoked your dead mother,
You
Dan.
fat
Nobody
shamed your
said.
mother.
Nobody. Yeah, you're the one that
Let's go.
brought her
So,
up in this conversation. So you invoking
we
your
use
dead
the
mother in
N-word?
this
Can we
conversation as an
can we
attempt,
be racist?
you trying to
Can we
use
be
that as an
racist?
attempt to try and summon some sort of emotional response from people, Dan, shows how sick you are. You impugn your dead mother's name for the sake of some argument over the internet. Way to go, Dan. Way to dig up your mother's corpse and just parade it around the internet for the sake of some argument. Look at Daniel Pazzi, everybody, the shining example of moral fortitude. You fucking indigent asshole, Daniel Pazzi. You dregs of human society.
It's
I
okay
truly
to-
do feel sorry for anybody who has ever come into contact with anybody even associated with you, because the stories they would tell would probably make me weep by simply being in the orbit of your unfathomably sad existence, Dan.
So fat shaming is okay in certain circumstances. I'm sorry, I gotta know these rules. So
Did
can
you
somebody
find it
be
yet?
racist?
Yeah, where's the conversation, Dan? Were you busy trying to find the conversation you said you were gonna find earlier?
Right now I'm still back.
Where did that oh, you're still looking.
Oh, you guys
Yeah.
can get that
It's
one
really
up.
hard to find. Really hard to find.
There was a lot of kick rocks, Daniel.
Just buried. It's just buried so far up there though, Dan. I know. It's almost like the search conversation feature exists, and you could just look in there and you could type a couple of words in there and you'd actually have it up immediately, because you know what you said, Dan. You know what you said. Go into the search conversation feature and go and type it, and then go and pull up the message, Dan, and then you won't have any excuse, will you?
If you shut up, I can ask you. So it wouldn't be the search Facebook. There's a search message. Would that do it?
No,
I don't know,
search
Dan.
Twitter.
Why don't you try it out for yourself, you septuagenarian?
Now, is
See if
that
you can search
okay?
eBay, it might come up.
Is it okay to do ageism? When
Yeah, you're a septuagenarian. Yeah, you are.
Well, you're.
And you know what? I
you're
say that
actually-
to you.
you're
I say
actually-
that to
you're
you,
actually
and I say that not to Big Bad Mama and not to Father Charles, because I find it amusing to make fun of you for your age, even though I don't actually hold ageist opinions. Because Dan,
Well, you
you're
just
somebody
did.
who I hold
You
no
just did.
respect for whatsoever.
Okay, so it's
You're
all right.
somebody that I hold no respect for whatsoever, so why would I lend you any sort of decency in our conversations with each other? Why would I lend a man who trots his dead mother out into a conversation when nobody else has invoked her name whatsoever, when he can't even respect his own mother?
Funny. So it's okay to now. Let me get the
Funny.
rules
Yeah, it's
right.
so
Let me
funny
just
how
get
you
the
said
rules.
that about your
You
dead
can-
mother, right,
you
Dan?
can
That was
say-
so funny. I'm sure she's laughing it up right now, Dan.
My mother spent a life being unhappy with
Raising
her
a child who apparently will bring her memory up in a conversation over the internet for no good reason.
Now
What a
who's
shame.
who's bringing up somebody who's passed
Actually,
away?
you're the one that brought her
No.
up in the conversation,
you're
Dan.
keeping
You're
up
the
with
one that brought her
it.
up,
You're
not me.
keeping up
So
with it.
she
So-
clearly raised you, who is doing that right now. So that's nothing but a statement of fact, Dan.
So Big Bad
Don't
Mama,
try
you're
and
kind
spin
of the
that into
orator.
anything but a statement of fact.
Big Bad Mama, you're kind of the statesman. So it is. So you gotta. Well, you're the one that always says, "Oh, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say that." So, is it okay to? I got to get these rules right. So if I fat shame somebody on this site or in our community, that's okay.
Dan, whatever answer he's going to give, you're not even going to actually listen or take seriously anyway.
I
so
really
can we
will.
just skip to the part where we listen to your interpretation of his answer?
I really will. So,
no, but can we just skip to the part where we get to your interpretation of his answer? Because you're not actually going to factor his answer to your question in whatsoever. So can we just skip to that
there you're
part?
lying again, Aiden.
No,
So
I'm not, because remember the part when your last conversation where you asked Big Bad Mama if they believed that a child had any eternal value, and Big Bad Mama wouldn't answer your question, so you said, "Oh, of course you don't. We know that you don't." Dan, you ask questions all the time you already know the answer to, just because you're trying to get a very specific leading answer out of people. So don't act like you don't do that, Dan. Don't act like you don't do that, septuagenarian.
I actually think that Big Bad Mama has some good morals when it comes to, you just shouldn't be racist. You shouldn't be sexist. You shouldn't be.
I agree. You shouldn't make comments about illegal immigrants. You shouldn't say that they're just like trafficking people all the time just because they're illegal immigrants, right? You shouldn't like support stories about immigrants like cooking animals, even though there's nothing that actually substantiates that whatsoever. No, you shouldn't do those things, right? Oh, I didn't say you did. I just said you shouldn't do those things, Dan. When did I say you shouldn't do those things, Dan?
Okay, no, I don't. So, Aiden.
Oh.
Who's in charge of the southern border?
Oh, you don't? That's news to me.
I never said that they ate animals.
Oh, that's news to me.
Well, thank you. Did you ever say they ate animals?
I mean, I never said that they did. I never said that you did either, though, did I?
Right, but it's news to me that you don't think they did, so...
Yeah, I'm sure that it is. I'm sure that it is. You see the level of Dan's tactics? He can't actually come up with an idea of his own, so he just mirrors mine and tries throwing them back at me as though that's some, like, gotcha. Once again, kind of like a third grader does, like, on the playground. When, like, you say, "Oh, you're stupid," and they say, "No, you're stupid." That's about the level of tactic that Dan is using when he says something like that, so...
Now, Big Bad Mama...
Dan, we're just waiting for you to...
Yeah.
I mean,
let's pull up the chat, Dan.
Found it by now, so just read it.
No, I've been talking...
Yeah, come on, read the chat. Read the chat, Dan. Oh, yeah. Oh, crap.
Sorry, I can't listen to honking on YouTube.
We gave you plenty of opportunity, Dan. It's literally been like 15 minutes. It's been 15 minutes.
You won't shut up.
No.
My point, Aiden. You won't let me talk anyway.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Dan.
He's ready to read it.
No, he shut me up. He obviously doesn't want to hear it. So, Big Bad Mama, let's make this roll.
He's trying to divert again.
Let's all be quiet and
we'll
let Dan read it.
I'm being quiet. Go ahead and read it, Dan.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I can't listen to honking off YouTube. Please use text. Work on my voice, work on my voice because it was better and it would be funny. So that's where I am right now. That was like...
That's not the conversation that we were talking about, Dan, and you know that's not the conversation that we were talking about. We were talking about you bringing somebody up that had nothing to do with any of this community whatsoever. And in all that time that we've had since you brought that up and said that you were going to bring up the conversation, you just now opened the conversation. Just now. You were just able to summon up.
I showed you on the phone that Christian Pike was
You were just able to get your bony eldritch fingers to be able to clack against the screen long enough to be able to summon that up. Congratulations, man. Go ahead. You've been able to talk this whole time. It's a free country, Dan.
Not with the Canadian goose around.
Yeah, no, it is, actually. Oh, is a Canadian goose able to take away your freedom? That sure is a frail freedom.
Well, some people think it's moral to not to like talk over each other, and that's something not one of your morals. So
some people also think it's moral not to invoke people that have nothing to do with the community. Oh wait, that's not you though, because that's what you did though, right, Dan?
Say that again in English.
No, you understand what I said. It doesn't bear repeating.
I understood.
I'm not gonna waste repeating it on you.
I meant for the rest of them because you talked
no.
right then.
Well, then you understood what I said, and you're the only one I need to understand what you said.
Right, so I was just wanting...
Dan, am I talking to everybody else, or am I talking to you right now, Dan?
Well, I want the... We're in a group right now, Christian. So I want everybody.
Christian, you're not talking to Christian right now. Are you aware where you are right now, Dan? Do you know who the president is? Are you tasting copper right now, Dan?
No.
Because you just called me Christian, and Christian hasn't even said anything in this conversation for like 10 minutes. Are you all right, Dan?
Oh, well, you guys all parrot each other anyway, so
yeah, right. That's very clever. That was a good recovery, Dan.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you. So I do come up with some good ones sometimes.
But no, that's called sarcasm. I know that you're not able to detect it.
Oh, well, then you got a low sense of humor then, because I can even admit when you say stuff.
Not as low as your opinion of people that have nothing to do with this community, but I mean, hey, there's that.
How's it going, Dan?
It is good. Can you get? Well, I'm still looking because I went too far.
Oh, he's hard at work. He's hard at work. He's really trying to find it right now, Big Bad Mama. Trust me. Trust me.
I mean, how many conversations did you guys have? Like,
no, we didn't have any. I literally just told him kick rocks the entire time while he sent me paragraph after paragraph of, oh, well, you said this and you said that, and you're a horrible person because of this. And don't you think that Mark's a horrible person? And don't you think that Big Bad Mama is a horrible person? And don't you think everybody else is a horrible? And I just told him, kick rocks, Dad.
Isn't that a lie?
And he's trying to dig through the conversation endlessly in order to try and find the one little bit where he said something. Why don't you? No, you're the one that said that you were going to pull it up.
You just lied.
You're the one that claimed that you had the conversation that you were going to pull it up. Oh, look, Dad, he became attached to one little minute detail of the conversation. Watch. What Dan's going to say I lied about is a minute detail of the conversation that didn't have anything to do with anything, and he's going to use that minute detail to try and distract away from what I was already talking about. Watch it happen, folks. Watch it happen in real time. Let's listen, Dan. What's your obfuscation? Let's hear the distraction. Let's hear the Dan-straction.
So are you finished?
No, I'm waiting for you to distract us with whatever red herring you decided to pull out of nowhere. No, I'm waiting to hear the red herring, Dan. Come on, pull it out. Let's hear it.
Didn't you just say that in between your kicks, all I did was attack people? Didn't you just say that?
No, that's not what I said. No, I just said that was part of the content of what you said, but now, I know that's a swing and a miss, Dan. That's a swing and a miss, Dan. That's a really you see how he's trying to focus on a minute part of the conversation that had nothing to do. The primary thing that I had talked about was Dan talking about somebody that had nothing to do with the community, and now Dan is saying that I'm a liar because Dan didn't just say bad things about people. One time he sardonically tried to say that I was a good person once or twice or something like that. So he didn't just say that. He's trying to pull up a minute detail of the conversation that has nothing to do with the primary claim at hand in order to try and distract and obfuscate. And once again, Dan, I'm not going to let you get away with it. You've tried on like no less than 5 or 6 occasions to try to use your sneaky, greasy little tactics by sneaking things through. No, I'm just pointing out the absolute holes in your argument and how it doesn't hold any water whatsoever, Dan. That's all I'm trying to point out.
This is Saturday at 6:54. Confession. This is me. My mom said she was born overweight. The reason society thinks that fat shaming is bad is because it is. The reason Pike said he was treating me badly is because he was showing me how I act. I thanked him because that is what I do with everyone who thinks they're good. Fat shaming shames all fat people. Lupin, Brianna, my mom, and all fat people.
Who was that person you brought up there? Who was that other person you brought up there? What was that name?
Context.
What was that name? What was that name that you brought up there, Dan?
Lupin.
You said Lupin and your mom, and who was that third person you brought up?
Brianna.
And what does she have to do with this community, Dan? How many times has Brianna been in this community? How many times has Brianna... And let me ask everybody in this room. How many times has Brianna come into this communication?
Brianna and my mom.
How many times has Brianna come into this community?
How many times is my mom? And how
no,
many times
never once.
How many
so now that Dan has invoked Brianna's name, I'm going to let everybody know that Dan called Brianna fat.
No, I didn't.
And yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You called Brianna fat, and you used that to impugn her looks. And you brought her up. You brought her up, even though I never said anything about anybody that had nothing to do with anything that you said whatsoever. So he called Brianna fat. He called Brianna fat in order to shoehorn this little example of his in. And you know what he expected me to do, Deviant? You know what when a man does when they do something as base as to call their significant other fat? What they're trying to do when they're trying to do that is provoke anger out of the other person.
Of course.
So he tried to get me angry, right? He tried to get me like he tried to get this horrible reaction out of me where I look at him freak out. Look at him freak out as I calmly dissect everything that he's saying. Yeah, you are. You're getting desperate, Dan. All I'm doing right now is surgically All I'm doing is surgically dissecting everything that you did right now, and you're screaming and you're scrambling around and you're repeating the same thing over and over again. You're getting all panicked because you know that what you said was horrible. No, you are though, Dan. You're getting all flustered, Dan. Why are you so worried? Why are you so worried, Dan?
How is
I don't know why you're getting all flustered. So Dan expected me to get all angry and all upset, and because I'm not angry, and because I'm not upset, and because I didn't do the reaction that he expected me to, here he is in this room, just impugning me and desperately grasping at straws in order to try and extract a certain answer out of me. And I'm not going to give him that answer. I'm not going to give him the answer that he is seeking. And now because of that, he is just going on with his nonsense that has nothing to do with anything that was initially brought up, Dan. Dan, you are a disgusting human being for invoking somebody who had nothing to do with this community. And I didn't even inform her. Do you know why I didn't inform Brianna, Dan? Because Brianna is a person who, as I said, has nothing to do with this community. So she's gone on with her life, not knowing that there's this weird, random 65-year-old man in California who has an opinion about my wife's body. Who has an opinion about my fiance's body and wants to impugn it on an online conversation in order to try and invoke a reaction out of me. So because I didn't give Dan the reaction that he wanted, he's here just trying to overtalk me like the desperate, sad, dejected shell of a man that he is.
Hey, Dan, that wasn't the comment even that you read. That wasn't the...
Thank you. I was asking... Aiden couldn't shut up to say that was not really the one. But you see, I invoked my mother in it too. Why?
Yeah, you're the one that invoked her into the conversation.
About your mother. You made that choice about your mother,
in a
Dan.
private chat.
You made that choice about your mother, Dan. Shut up. Shut up, Dan.
You guys showing the evil hearts.
Hey, Dan, shut up. Hey, Dan, shut up.
It's not evil.
That is evil.
Hey, Dan, how about you shut your stupid septuagenarian mouth for 2 seconds?
You chose to bring your mother into that comment that you made. That was your choice about your mother. You may
private chat.
No, Dan, no, she's not done.
You may bring anyone that you have a personal relationship to, and
and then he went on to say that I called his mother fat, and I never said anything of the sort, while he called my fiance fat. Yeah. He directly said that she was fat in multiple messages. He said that directly, whereas I never said anything of the sort towards his mother whatsoever. And he's trying to equivocate these things. Daniel Pazzi is the kind of man that uses his dead mother, who can't even speak a word for herself, to try and defend his comments of invoking somebody who has nothing to do with this community whatsoever. So rather than just admitting that he did something morally dejectable, and did something that was reprehensible for no good reason whatsoever, he instead is going to sit here and double Dan, just like he did on Richard Dawkins, just like he did with Big Bad Mama. He's just going to keep doubling down, and rather than he's sitting here and having a conversation where people speak with each other, he just keeps sitting there and repeating the same thing over and over and over again. I don't really understand why he even bothers trying to overtalk me, because no one's been been able to do it so far. Dan least among them.
Well, no, that's how you win a debate, Aiden. Is you don't shut up.
Hello.
You're right. I do win, Dan. You're right. Thank you
By
for
not
admitting
shutting
that I
up.
win.
By not
Let's let
shutting
Deviant
up.
talk.
Let's
let
I had
Deviant
someone
talk.
sleeping next to me.
Dan admits I win debates. Thank you, Dan.
By
Deviant,
not
go ahead.
shutting up. By not shutting up. That's
Dan,
not a winning debate.
You
Well, you said I
made
won.
that choice. You had no right
By
to
not
bring in. Shut
Sorry.
up, Dan.
Aiden,
What the
Aiden,
fuck
keep-
is wrong with you? Why can't you respect
Dan,
someone
control
trying to
yourself,
talk
Dan.
to you?
Deviant.
Control yourself.
Deviant.
Control
Aiden
yourself,
keeps
Dan.
talking to me.
Dan,
I'm
control
answering.
yourself.
I'm
Oh,
answering.
here's
Aiden.
Lupin to start
Go
over
ahead.
talking.
Wait. Go ahead, Deviant.
Well, thank you. After fucking 15 minutes.
Thank Aiden for that one.
No, I'm thanking you. Fuck you.
Go.
Let me
Aiden's been
finish
the
what
one
I've
that's
been
talking.
trying to say.
Have you guys heard the good news? That Christ is
Can you
Lord?
let me fucking end the sentence?
No, Claudio is going to try to overtalk you now.
Lupin, you're
Claudio
interrupting.
is trying to
Come
overtalk.
on.
Oh,
Wait your turn, please.
my bad.
I'm trying to.
I had
It
two
wouldn't
screens
take me.
playing.
No, you don't have to say
quiet.
anything. You have to be
Alright.
quiet and let Deviant speak.
Have you guys heard the good news? That
No, hey, Claude, how about you be quiet and no, he's just here to troll. So Claudio is just here to troll and just try to overtalk the entire time. So Claudio is here to try and keep on trying to overtalk. He's trying to take over the stream and make it all about himself, and he thinks that he's going to be able to talk over the stream the entire time, and he's not going to be able to do it. So he's going to be able to try and overtalk the stream. It's not going to happen. No, it's not going to work.
Lupin,
It's not going to work.
Deviant has the floor, and if you don't shut up, Aiden won't. So let Deviant talk.
Yeah, so shut up, Claudio. So shut up, Claudio. Shut up.
Everybody.
Shut up.
Just take off.
Claudio, shut up.
Give them what they want. Don't give them
Hey.
what they want.
Everybody, hold on.
Claudio.
Outcast.
You're so disrespectful, it makes
Aiden, I
even
thought you were
Dan
gonna let
sick.
the- I
You're
thought
so
you were gonna-
disrespectful, it literally
talk.
makes Dan sick. So that's
Can you
pretty
block
funny.
Everybody, Logan,
Aiden,
except for
yeah.
Deviant.
Aiden can't respect other people in the community. Go ahead, Deviant.
Okay.
Just silence everybody.
According to Deviant, it was you, Dan, but okay.
So,
Oh, sorry.
thank
Go ahead,
you.
Lisa.
Thank you, Gigi.
Sorry.
What I want to say was you made the choice to bring up someone that is close to you, that you have a personal relationship to. That is your choice to make. It is not okay to bring up someone else's loved ones or dear ones, people who are not part of this community whatsoever. The point being, you made a boo-boo. We all do. Just say, I'm sorry, Aiden, and please, I'm sorry, Brianna. I should not have done that. And this whole screaming match thing would be over. I don't understand why it's so difficult for you to just say, I'm sorry.
Well, Dan is going to say that I have to do something first,
Can
and
I
yet he
speak
is the proponent of a
after
book
Aiden?
that says that when somebody, even if I was the one, which I don't think I was, but let's just say
Gangster,
that
did you
I
have-
was the one that provoked this. Let's just grant that to Dan here, that I provoked this entire scenario. Dan is a proponent of a book that says when someone slaps you on the face to turn the other cheek and to offer that to them. And rather than doing that, Dan has decided to just slap right back, continually over and over and over again. So, prove me wrong, Dan. Apologize, turn the other cheek, and admit that what you said about my fiance was wrong. And then all of this can be settled and all of this can be wrapped up. That's all it's going to take. And Lupin's going to advise you against that and what he's about to say. He's about to advise you not to take the biblical path and not to turn the other cheek and not to apologize.
What
So
does
just
that
so
have
you
to do
know,
with
that's what
Aiden?
Lupin's
That's out of
going to
con-
do.
that's
I
out of
just wanted to
context.
preempt. I just wanted to preempt that.
That's
Okay.
out of context, Aiden. So thank you. So
No, it's not,
finally,
because
no, no,
actually
no,
Claudio said earlier that Dan shouldn't be here and that he shouldn't be doing quote unquote
no.
what
You're
we
turning the other
want him
cheek
to be
thing.
doing.
You're
Okay,
turning.
all right.
Let's let Lupin
You're
talk.
turning.
Let's let
Yeah.
Lupin talk.
I won't be.
Well,
I won't be long.
found another one first. Can I do the other one first?
I won't be long, Dan. Can I just say this real quick?
Dan. Yeah,
Okay.
let Lupin talk.
I just want to let you guys know that Jesus Christ loves you. He died for all of your sins, and he rose after 3 days after he was crucified.
This is so
And,
relevant to the conversation.
anybody that believes in him shall never see death but have eternal life. Dan, I
Shall
just
never
want
perish, but have
I,
everlasting
I
life.
just want you to know that you do have value, you do have self worth, and I hope you see where it is productive to spend that time. Sometimes these conversations can get you in your flesh. They'll take you out of your mind. They'll take you out of how you would normally think. So I would just suggest knowing your self worth, knowing how valuable your time is, and knowing when to spend it. I've been listening for 5 minutes, and it's been a headache. I've heard you've been told to be shut up a number of times. It's up to you whether you want to stand here and take the disrespect. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're a grown man. But also, it is ironic and hypocritical for these people trying to get an apology out of you whenever they will talk about Ken
You have to
Hovind's
get the
wife.
barb in somewhere. Have to get
How
the
many
barb in
beers
Every,
has he been
somewhere.
had
Let's let
today?
Lupin get the barb in at the very end of the comment. Yeah, that's very
but
good, Claudio. That's
How
very
many
good,
beers you got
Claudio.
in you?
I'll let you with that
That's very good,
information. And
Claudio. Very
yes,
poetic of you to
yes,
try and get that
God
barb in
bless
at the end.
you.
I
Guys take
actually
care.
have to go as
Love
well, so
you.
I'm going to go at the same time as
Well,
Lupin.
well,
Bye,
let's go.
everybody.
Whoa,
I've
whoa,
got
whoa!
to go to work.
I
Have
just
a
got
good
some
one, Dan.
comments. Aiden,
Take
don't
care.
run. Don't run away. Okay, to be continued. So it happened Friday at 6 a.m. I won't read this because he's not here, but I did not use her name. I said, oh, I can read this because it's not her name. I said, what? Well, no, that doesn't work. I said, what does somebody think of fat shaming? That was my whole purpose the whole time.
Yeah,
Other
that's not what
comment.
it said.
The other comment. What?
That's not what it said.
And you guys got permission because he already gave it to you. So, what does your woman think of you fat shaming when she is overweight? Okay. Does she know your feelings of fat people? And that I might be wrong with that. I think because I think if I say something racist, I shouldn't say something racist because there's some minority could have like done me wrong.
All right, so just one more thing really quick here to clarify before I go. So
You
the
did. You fixed it.
conversation as Dan is refusing.
Wow, somebody shut him up. Okay. So, does she know your feelings of fat people?
Please don't call her anything.
No. I said, does.
What does she have to do with anything, Dan?
I'm trying to get him not to fat shame people. I don't care who they are. I don't care if you think they're less
That's
than
between
human.
you and him.
This was private.
No, you said it yesterday as well on
Yesterday,
the
but it came
Proverbs
out
Guy's
before
show.
that.
What Dan said is,
Only
can you
because
ask
it came
Mark?
out
Can
before
you
that.
ask Mark if he
Listen.
thinks that your live-in is fat? That's what Dan said. He said,
I
can
did-
you
oh, yeah,
ask
I did that
Mark if
too.
he thinks that your live-in is fat? Who
Because
are you
I didn't.
talking about there, Dan? Who are you talking? Oh, I didn't bring her up by name. I just invoked the one person who we all know who we're talking about. But I didn't bring her up by name, you slippery fucking piece of garbage,
Did I
Dan.
say that? Now,
Go
who is?
fuck yourself,
Oh,
you
he's so
idiot.
upset. Poor
Go
little.
and fuck
Go back
yourself.
to
That's
your
all you have.
room.
That's all you
Go
have
back
is
to
just to
your
go,
room,
oh, blah,
poor
blah, blah,
Aiden.
blah.
So
Oh,
Aiden is
he
not
said
the
something
good.
personal about my fiance, so he got upset. He's a human being with emotions. What a little baby. Yeah, you're right, Dan. You caught me. I'm going to let everybody else speak on what a stupid retard you are. Go ahead, everybody.
Oh, now, okay, wait a minute. Well, I'm going to stop that, Aiden. You're a scumbag for saying that. Do you know that Gigi does not like you guys making fun of me for my learning disability because he's got it too? Do you guys stop and think? You're attacking me for being retarded, and you're sitting and you're on somebody's show who has a learning disability. Evil. Don't you guys think that's evil?
I think what you're saying
Dan.
about other
No,
people's
let's say
significant
no.
others is evil.
Whoa. Okay, that's good. You can think that. But do you think Aiden just calling me retarded when the person on that has this station has a learning disability just like I do? So
Dan,
and he said, no, Gigi said it hurts his feelings. I'm just telling you, let's be a little nicer. So when I went into private comments and say, and like, well, I'll read again. What does your woman think of you fat shaming? That is implying that I think fat shaming is the umbrella of everybody. Now, I might be wrong in my definition that you guys, since you think that Lupin is lesser of a human being than you guys, it's all right.
No, I don't.
I don't think that.
No, I don't. I don't
Okay,
think
but
that
why is it all right? Why is it all right to fat shame Lupin?
I have never fat shamed.
I don't think
Lupin.
I've fat shamed Lupin before.
Never.
Aiden has, and he's the one I addressed personally.
I've never fat shamed
well, is
anyone
that all right?
because I hate it. I have long history of anorexia, which you know because I have mentioned it many times before. And I also have a learning disability.
So when he calls somebody retarded, did that make you kind of like cringe? When Aiden called me a retard, and that you guys could tell me how retarded I am or whatever he said, was that like, go Aiden, good job, Aiden?
I don't like when anybody uses that word, including you.
No, me neither.
Thank you. Oh, the only time I say
you've used it too, Dan. So,
and usually it's about me because I had people say you can't use retard. I thought I was retarded. That's a personal me to me. If I said that about
here nor there compared to what we're talking about, though.
Okay, but let's get some rules. Aiden shouldn't be hurting Gigi's feelings. Can we all say that?
We're not going. That's between Aiden's
no, on this
relationship
community
with Gigi is. We're talking about you talking about other people's significant others.
It's in this community. So we already made the law that we can only fat shame people in our community. So it's all right, I guess. No, you guys just said that. I can't.
I tried not to fat shame anybody, and if I did, I'm not happy about it.
Okay, good. But you sit here.
I said that I don't. I said that I have to whisper because I woke up certain he's going up very early this morning to work. I said I don't like fat shaming. I don't do it.
Thank you.
I actually abhor it because of my own history. And I don't go and point out people having what people do that is based on their learning disability. Because guess what? Not only do I have ADHD, I come from a freaking family of people with the autism and dyslexia and you name it. So no, don't put on me what others have said.
Well, but you guys are doing that with me is what my point is. So then
I don't. Have I ever called you?
No. But if you allow somebody, so you guys are attacking me.
I'm not responsible for what other people do.
So then you shouldn't be responsible for what I say to Aiden, right?
Of course I'm not responsible for what you are responsible for what you say to Aiden.
Okay, so you shouldn't have any comment on it. But so
that's not the same thing.
Let me have this clear then. So
that is not the same thing. Don't try to deflect from it.
Is it okay? No, it's basic rules. I told you why.
No, it's not. You're twisting things.
No, they're basic rules.
Things,
this is the 10 Commandments of Gigi
why
show.
You are so confused because you're confusing yourself.
No, it's not confusing. You have to have laws. So
Can
just
I jump
because
in?
Go ahead.
I suggest that you just say, hey, Aiden, you and I have a difference of opinion, but I apologize for bringing your fiance into this. Let's move forward.
That's what I said. Just say you're sorry and that's it.
I have different standards than you guys. You don't like it. So let me read this, though, so you guys can tell me where I fat shamed her in this. Does your woman think of you fat shaming when she is overweight? How is that me fat shaming her? I'm asking him a question.
Okay, let me pull up the text.
Okay, that is Friday at 6. I thought it was Sunday we did this. Friday at 6:13 a.m.
Why did you bring her into the conversation? Why did you bring up
Because
Her.
I've asked. Oh, okay, I'll tell you that. Because I've asked him, and hey, Aiden, don't do that. And he goes, I can do that because Lupin is whatever. And I thought he did say
But
he was
that
a
has
lower
nothing to
human
do
being.
with Brianna. Don't you see the fucking difference?
I think fat shaming anybody is bad. So I didn't.
Why
Okay, look
did
at that.
you then bring up Brianna? You're
Deviant,
the one saying she's
deviant,
overweight. You're the
deviant.
one fat shaming her.
That's not fat shaming her. Okay, if I see you and you're skinny, and I like skinny people. I like skinny people. If I said, deviant, you're so beautiful, you're skinny, I'm bringing up that. But is that I don't know. It's just crazy towns. So how is that?
So here's your quote. Here's your quote, Dan. Did we read this quote all the way through?
Well, let's do this one first. What
No,
does
no,
your...
no. I haven't talked in a while. So.
Oh yeah.
Your quote was
what time? What time?
Aiden read part of it, but I'm just going to read it again, and so Deviant can hear it. Can you ask Mark if he thinks your live-in is fat? I only saw her once, but I know Mark got a long look.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's right above that. Yes, because I seen her a couple times, and to me, she might have just been in robes and stuff. So that was my point. So I didn't even fat shame her because I didn't really even know. It's like I know Mark has seen her.
So
Dan, what's your obsession with his fiancée?
No, I haven't.
Why are you looking at her? Why are you dragging her into
Right.
any of all this nonsense?
It's fat shaming. The subject was fat shaming.
She has nothing to do with this. Why are you dragging her in? Don't you see that's the issue?
Okay, I've got it. Okay, this will explain it.
Don't you see
so
that's
my
the
wife,
issue?
My wife is Filipina, right? So if I start ragging on, look at that stupid Filipina over there, and they might have done something bad to me, like Aiden's definition. This might be a real bad Philippine person who did something to me bad, just as bad as Lupin. I mean, this Filipina is as bad as Lupin, and I'm there, and I'm going, what a dirty, bad Filipina. Now, I hope somebody would say, hey, Dan, your wife's Filipina. Why would you do that? Why would you use somebody's body image or nationality or something they can't help? If you guys don't understand this, I don't know how I can help you. This is
well, because you don't understand the basic premise of the issue. And if you were at just a tiny bit ready to self-reflect and think, maybe I actually said or did something that was wrong.
Did you hear my example?
Yes, I did.
What that could you see? Do you see how that relates? Do you see that a parallel?
No.
And look at my comment again. Let's see. Here we go. I went up with you with the Mark one. What does your woman think of you fat shaming when she is overweight? Okay, so that's not me fat shaming her. Now, so Deviant.
It isn't? Of course it is.
I've told you a million times. Just it is.
Okay,
and
please tell me, because you guys know I don't understand English.
When she's overweight, you said that's fat shaming.
No.
And she has nothing. She has nothing to do with it. She has nothing to do with it.
Let's get the definition of fat shaming. Big Bad Mama, what is fat shaming? Because I might have fat shamed, because to me, I didn't.
Are you so
if I say anybody out there is overweight, that's fat shaming them?
Are you so weak? You can't just say, I shouldn't have brought Aiden's fiancé into this conversation.
I disagree. Sorry. So, Big Bad Mama.
No, you're not sorry.
No, I'm not sorry, because I disagree with you. So, what does your woman think of, and so it'd be somebody asking me, Dan, what would...
Read it again all the way through.
Okay, so what does your woman think of you fat shaming when she is overweight? And before you go on that, so it'd be like somebody telling me, Dan, what does your woman think, your Philippine woman think of you shaming a Filipino? Okay, that's how maybe my mind's wrong in English. So does she know your feelings of fat people? That's a question mark. He didn't answer that. So to me, then it's like, okay, I gave him the softball. He's going to say, no, I didn't. I don't have anything against fat people. I just was digging at Lupin.
You're making it worse. You're making it worse because I didn't even know about this quote. But yeah, you called her overweight. Why are you talking about her?
Okay, did you see the Philippine
Why don't you just stop talking about people? You know, you can talk about us.
Did you see my where's that rule?
We're in the community.
So I can talk about anybody in the
if you and I get into an argument and we get heated and I call you a name or what have you, or you call me a name.
I think that's immoral.
Well, you and I have both done that, right? We've all called each other names at some point.
Yeah, and we can be immoral sometimes.
But I would never go and call your wife anything because I don't know her and she seems like a lovely person. So I wouldn't even like go to that place. Do you see the difference?
Oh, okay. So
you and I have battled. You and I have battled online, and so it's natural that we get heated sometimes, and we're going to call each other something.
And I love that. I hope I like that. And people like, oh, you're not acting Christian. It's like I'm just having fun, and I hope you guys are too. So when Aiden repeatedly talked about Gemma as being a mail order bride, she's not in this community. How come you guys didn't call him out on that? That's where I think you guys are like blinded, because Aiden can call my wife a mail order bride and you guys have no problem. But I say in a private conversation trying to ask Aiden, and here again,
I don't like that either. I don't like those comments either. I mean, I'll just say it right now. I don't like bringing up your wife or anything like that. In any context.
Next time he does it, you'll call him out on it. And actually, when he comes back in, you can call him, Aiden, that was wrong of you. You should apologize to Dan. Right?
I don't. I've never even heard Aiden do that. I mean, I've heard Claude, and he kind of owns it, you know.
Well, we know he shows his dark.
But that's the only time I've ever heard anybody mention mail order bride.
You can ask him.
I don't do that. I don't do that.
I have heard Aiden say that the other day.
Right.
After you listen, shut up, Dan. Let me finish. After you had said that about his fiancée, do you see the difference?
He said it a long time to Deviant. So he said it twice, at least, and one was way before. So you're trying to make again.
No, I'm saying what I have heard. I'm saying what I have heard.
Okay.
I don't like those comments, which is why I don't do them myself.
Okay, but and that's why I want rules.
But I can't see why he would say that once you have dragged his.
So it's all right if somebody says something about somebody that, and then I can see that.
It's never all right to say anything about somebody else's significant other.
No.
Okay. I'm at least.
No matter who it, and I don't care if they're my friend or who.
You're consistent. Thank you. And that's why I like you, PPM, because you are consistent. We can disagree with stuff, but you're always consistent on it.
I'm not consistent, so that's why you don't like me. But maybe you would if you.
I do like Deviant. I do like. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta go plug in. Deviant, I do like you. Yeah, because I really like hearing your opinion. I'm actually. You guys can chit chat. I'm gonna get a charger. Can you guys give me the charger for the computer?
Let's just. Oh, he's not here. Okay.
Well, you can talk. I'm listening, but
I'm just saying. Let's try not to do that.
Yeah.
Let's just try in the future not to do that. And I'm talking to everybody here. You know, and I
agree.
I'll try not to.
Sorry.
You know, I'll try not to do that to anybody if I ever. You know, and I'm sure I have done something that went over the line. I can even, you know, for sure. But it's one thing to get heated against somebody you're talking to in the stream directly in the community, and somebody who's just completely innocent bystander. And that's where I draw the line, is the completely innocent bystander who has nothing to do with it. Dragging their name into your disagreement with somebody else. That's where my line is drawn, but you know.
Well, let's make a line. Let's not do any of that. No fat shaming. No to anybody. I told Aiden, it's like he's too intellectual to reduce himself to fat shaming somebody. Okay, I don't have the I didn't get the role in advance that I can fat shame you guys, but I can't fat shame somebody else. I will now not do that because I want to respect your roles. And so, but I like that, Big Bad Mama. How about let's not do any retard jokes, because yes, that hurt. You guys have been hurt. Well,
I can only answer for myself.
Well, but you're a leader in this community. If somebody says like, hey, let's
I don't want to be a leader in the community.
Well, you are, though.
I just want to be
I give you those kudos. You because your voice, and this is coming from somebody who argues with you all the time. You have, and you lead by your actions, and that's compliment. And so I think they would listen to you if you say, hey, let's do it a different way. Let's not use fat shaming, racism, sexism, all those type of things. And like I say, you guys whoever has done it, calling me out for, Dan can't speak English. You guys do know, and now you do know, because I always just joke about it, but I won't joke about it anymore because Gigi told me that hurts his feelings. And so I won't, defend myself with my learning disability, but you guys say anything again about my learning disability and attack me for my views, because I know you guys don't like them, and they're attackable because we disagree. But if you go after my learning disability, I don't care. It's off then. Rules are off. I'm going after anybody to get that person to shut up. And I'll do it in private.
Are those people going after your learning disability really, or are they just using the colloquial use of the R word, which I've made my opinion clear on that, and people make fun of me because I don't like that word, but I just don't like it. So
me too. Yeah.
Is that what you're saying, that people are making fun of your learning disability? Because I don't think that they're doing that.
They have. When it said Dan can't make a sentence right. So that is my learning disability. Now, see, and that's again education. So, and here's even more education. When you guys even say that, if it's not you, Big Bad Mama, because like I said, I can't stand that you're so good, because it'd be easier to hate you, but I love you. So because you are steady, you're good. So, like I said, so you guys, even if you're just colloquially calling me a retard, you're hurting Gigi's feelings. So a person with a learning disability, even if it's a colloquialism, come on, you guys know that. And even way back when I made the jokes like, wow, you guys would be fun going to the Special Olympics, wouldn't you? And over your guys' head. And that was kind of my thing. Hey, guys, now, if somebody had a disabled person off of this stream and they keep doing it now, I will go after that person personally. Because I got to educate these people that if you call me a retard, you're hurting Gigi's feelings. Because I'm accepting it, because I God made me that way and has given me a voice. So anyway.
Yeah, because we all know that we treat Gigi just terribly.
No. It might be translation. If like when Aiden just called me a retard, that is going to hurt Gigi's feelings. He said. He wasn't saying it to Gigi. He was saying it to me. But
I know.
So, no, you guys are really nice to him. But anytime you go after somebody like that, so if we went somebody in the community, and I didn't know you had anorexia, but I made a comment about, I don't know, say Aiden was anorexic, and I started attacking him on here because he's a part of the community, and you're so skinny. Why don't you go eat some carrots? My daughters were genetically skinny. They tried to get fat. They just couldn't. They hated it. So that's what I'm saying. And I know you agree with me, Deviant, that we should just, we can get into it heated. You're a jerk. I don't think that's anything that, whatever.
Okay. All right. I don't have a long time to be here, so I need to set the record straight. For one, when I call Dan's wife mail order bride, that's nothing against her whatsoever. It's actually making fun of you for purchasing a mail order bride. That's nothing against your wife whatsoever. That's not impugning her or her character whatsoever. I never had the intention of impugning her character whatsoever, and I never said anything to impugn her character. I was actually saying that she was a mail order bride because you would have ordered her if she was indeed a mail order bride. That's to make fun of you, Dan. That's not to make fun of your wife or impugn her character. When you call my wife overweight, even though you said so yourself that you didn't get a good look at her or you saw her in robes or whatever, according to your own admission earlier, that's you making a direct judgment on my wife. That's you saying something about her directly. Those are not equivalent. Those are not equivalent to each other. So also, just another thing to clarify as well, when he said that I called Dan retarded and that hurt Gangster Ghost's feelings, Dan messaged me last night saying that Gangster Ghost sent him a message begging him to stop saying those exact comments about my fiance, and Dan didn't say that he would stop. Dan said he would only stop if I stopped fat shaming people. So Dan doesn't care about what makes Gigi upset. Dan doesn't care about what makes him upset because he very clearly could tell that Gigi was upset by those comments, and he could have chose to stop making those comments to make Gigi not upset anymore, but he chose not to make those comments. So you don't give a shit about what upsets or doesn't upset Gangster Ghost, Dan. You do not care. Shut up and stop trying to spin your stupid web of sophistry bullshit. You're a liar, Dan. You're a known liar, and you trying to equivocate those things. I actually was the one that said that your wife was mail ordered to make fun of you. It was to make fun of you, Dan. Only to make fun of you. It had nothing to do whatsoever with anything to do with your wife. It was only to do with you, Dan. And the fact of the matter is, Dan, is that you had a double standard when you made fun of my wife's character directly by impugning her looks and saying that she was overweight. I don't care what sophistical bullshit you try to spin in this conversation to try and act like those two are somehow the same thing. They're not the same thing, and nothing that you say will be able to take away from that. I am not going to comment on my wife's physique. You've already done plenty of that for me, Dan. I'll let your words speak for themselves. Retard. Goodbye.
Uh-oh. You just heard what he said. So you can see, and this is actually good example, guys, because Aiden way back, oh, I'm good. I'm almost perfect. This, and what I've told other people, I'll tell you guys again, when I push your buttons, it's to show that you're filthy, sinful, deceitful-hearted people just like I am and need a savior. And it works. And like Christian, I'm just giving you what you gave me. It's like, you're doing it with, you said it was out without the spirit because he was talking to Satan or something. See, so Aiden should know now that and a question for you guys, because you'll say it's like, oh, Christians believe we're going to get out of it because we've got forgiveness from God. Now, we heard just the vial coming out of Aiden's mouth. And so where does he get, where does the justice come? You heard him say it's all right to use my wife to go after me, to make fun of me. I was going after him, trying to have him do is like, if you fat shame, you're fat shaming everybody. If you guys don't see the difference, I'm sorry that I explained it to you. I just don't know how to explain it to you. But any comments on that, guys?
We think BBBM. Hey there.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Dan, what's your question?
Well, again, two of them. Again,
he's upset at you, and so he's saying stuff because he's upset at you, and so, that's between you and him. Aiden's my friend, and I accept Aiden the way he is, and he knows how I feel about certain things, and I know how he feels about certain things, and we accept each other. And Aiden and Gangster Ghost have a very close relationship, and so they communicate all the time with one another. So, that's between them.
Gigi, aren't we friends?
I try to be everyone's friends.
Yeah, exactly. I try to too.
No one has said you weren't.
Yeah, nobody said you weren't friends.
Oh, well, you were just saying that him and Aiden were good friends. And
you were saying that what Aiden was saying was upsetting Gangster Ghost. And my point is, well, Gangster Ghost and Aiden talk all the time, and they can discuss anything they want about their friendship.
Okay. Gigi, have you ever told them that hurts your feelings?
That's not really your business.
Yes, it is. Aiden brought it up. So, Gigi, does it hurt your feelings?
Don't put him on this. Please don't put him on the spot like that.
You guys don't want to hear his feelings?
I don't want you to put him on the spot and make him uncomfortable.
Exactly.
He can talk. He can speak if he wants to, but
well, I do have a question for Gigi. You're the one that brought it up on Missing Maud's show today.
Yeah, sorry.
So why would you have told Missing Maud, oh, Dan said that on his show again? Because I don't think I used Aiden's name, and I don't think I used...
No, you did use the name, but you guys talk about what happened between you and Aiden on there?
Okay, I will apologize for that, because I'm really getting on people on my station, like, don't use people's names unless they're here.
You did. Are you talking about on the PGs? Are you talking about on the PG show?
Missing Maud, you told me to shut up, but I haven't said anything against Mark, so I don't know why you're getting on me. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, don't say that about her.
Why else would you tell me to shut up?
Well, just don't do that. You just tried to hurt her by bringing up Mark's name, and just don't do stuff like that.
He always does it, and she's the one that's told me before that she doesn't like it.
Dan, we're older than a lot of the people on here, and we should hold ourselves to a higher standard than people that are in their 20s and 30s. Right?
I think if I don't know, I was raised more that you respect the elders, and so if you get a little twit come in, because the reason
it depends on the elder.
Wait a minute. The reason I like Aiden, because he's just a smarter version than I was. I was an obnoxious 20-year-old. So no, and so as an elder, I wish I would have had somebody come and was like, Aiden, use your brains. Don't use your third grade attack people on their looks. Don't body shame.
Yeah, but you're doing that. You're fat shaming people.
Okay, again, I said, and we can bring it up again. You guys didn't answer.
We know what you said, Dan. Except,
but you got it. Wait a minute. Wait. Let me read it again. Well, no, I really want you guys.
We have heard it. You don't need to bring
but you haven't
her name
explained
up
it
again.
You haven't explained it though. What does your
I
woman
heard your
think
rationale
of
for why you said it.
That's not me calling her. That's not me fat shaming her. I would say if my mom was still alive, I'd go, Aiden, don't do that, because that's gonna hurt my mom's feelings. Because she used to listen when I was, when she was alive, I'd sit with her and she'd hear what we were doing.
You don't know her. You don't know his fiance. She's got nothing to do with this.
You guys are making laws that I'm
it's not a law. It's called common courtesy. I mean, Asho said something back, which was a good point. We shouldn't have to make rules for common courtesy. It should be something that just comes natural to you not to do. Now, if we're in a fight together on the stream and it's getting heated, then things come out. And so, there are things that we say that we're proud of and things we say that we're not proud of. But it's between us. To bring in somebody else's family or, and as I said, I don't like to do that in any case.
Exactly. But how did you guys first hear of my conversation with Aiden? And and I still don't see that as fat shaming.
BBM.
I just not getting it. So where did you guys hear that? It's the same thing. Like I had a
yes.
Oh, go ahead.
DVM.
Do you have maybe a drill or a jackhammer or something that can take on concrete? Because I want to put it to my head. That's how I feel about this conversation.
A jackhammer?
Yeah.
I've got a digging spade, which is smaller. But
I think
it's
Dan, I think you know what we're saying to you.
I do. I disagree with it. So
yeah, but I don't think you do. I don't think you do, actually.
Well, wait a minute. You guys said it's all right for Aiden to bring my wife in because Deviant
I didn't say that.
No, Deviant thought that, and this is I'm talking community.
No, I didn't.
Well, why did you?
I didn't say it was okay.
She did not say that.
No.
No, yeah, explain that, because when you said, "Oh well, Aiden did it because Aiden brought my wife in because I personally, privately talked to him," so he's the one that brought it public. So that I think I'm pretty sure. So
No.
but then
he
So this is
reacted
what
to
I
you
need
after
the
you
drill
made
for.
comments.
well, no, he said that before, though. This is not the first time he said that. This would have been after that, but he had said that before. And so he did explain. He goes, well, he was attacking me, so he was making like and that was way long time ago, because that was a long time when I said my
Look,
wife's got a doctorate's degree.
Aiden's
I'm the
not
male.
here.
I'm the
Aiden's not
male.
here anymore. So we're here with you, Dan. We're on the stream. We don't need to. Aiden's gone. You and him had your say and had your conversation together, whatever it was, right? So
Correct. So I agree. Let's not bring up any fat shaming, racism, whether it's in the community or out. And I can agree on that one. We can agree to disagree on the other. You guys are so Deviant. He came back in when you knew it. You should. Why didn't you say, "Hey, Aiden"? Well, because you can't, because the guy doesn't shut up. So you guys are giving him a pass, is what you're doing. In reality,
I just told you and him and everybody on here my opinion about things, right?
And I'm going to go with you, because I actually do respect you. There, Aiden doesn't, of course, but because he keeps it up. He came in and did it again. So yeah, I say, yeah, let's not do that. I will call people out when they do it. I won't. And then you guys back me up on it, though.
Okay, let me bring up something else. Now, when Stephen Bolin brought up that everybody who teaches evolution is a child abuser, and you agreed with him about that, do you see how ridiculous that is? When that's the accepted science, that's the accepted science.
Oh, it's a okay. It's
Do you see how that's ridiculous when in every university in the world they're teaching evolution in multiple disciplines of science? And you're saying that everybody that's teaching evolution from whatever level of high school on up through college, postdoc, whatever, is a child abuser.
Well, yeah, because no, and see, I apologize for that, because I know Christian, he believes in a special creation of, and you can correct, I mean, he'll correct, but I'm pretty sure I heard him say that there was a special creation. God used evolution, and then Adam and Eve were a special creation, which brought, sin into the world, da 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 da. So no, I don't think Christian is, because he does believe God created humans special. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
So apart from Christian, everybody else in the world who is teaching evolution is a child abuser.
I think to teach people.
You said that, and Stephen said that.
I believe, and that's where I corrected myself, because I didn't do it, because I don't believe because there's a lot of Christians who believe special creation in Adam and Eve. My belief is, and you can disagree, but if you teach that children have no eternal value, worth, purpose, I think that's abuse. Now, that's just my opinion. Now, we can agree. If we see somebody take a baseball bat and hit a kid, that's abuse. We can both agree on that one.
Okay, but we could also say that people who are homeschooling children on Kent Hovind DVDs, for example, we could call that child abuse, because some people do and some people don't. I try not to do that.
But do you think it's child abuse? Do you think the kids on
no, because kids have broken out of that relatively quickly, I think. When they get into high school, say, and they start seeing facts, scientific facts, they can break out of that relatively quickly, I think, as opposed to physical or mental abuse, which is actual real psychological, like psychological abuse.
Okay, yeah,
Those
there's
things
different
those
settings.
things can last a lifetime, but I think you can break out of a creationist teaching pretty quickly if you come in contact with other influences. So,
Exactly.
I wouldn't call that child abuse. I don't know about what Deviant would say about
But
that.
other people do, and I don't get all like, how dare you say that? I know people, and it could be you, it could be Deviant. That's your opinion. I kind of expect that. But a positive note, there's 4 youth leaders in our college group. All of them came from non-Christian homes, not bad homes, but just non-Christian evolutionary homes, and 3 of them are actually leading. So it mostly goes the other way, but there are some people that that the gospel, that we're sinful, that we need a savior, it does click with them. One has actually headed to it's an Eastern Bloc country, or was an Eastern Bloc, sorry, on a mission trip next month. Yeah, so yeah, it goes both ways. I think, I kind of expect some people in this community to think that I'm a child abuser because I teach my child that God created him.
Shouldn't we just stay away from that type of language, though, about people, about parents, and unless there is real abuse, because it trivializes the real abuse that goes on in families, which is pretty common, actually. Psychological. Sorry.
Are you all right, Big Bad Mama?
Sorry, I choked on an onion.
And I would agree. I would agree because there's far call them wings, whatever, far extremes of Christians, of atheists, that we could probably group them both together and say, man, those kids would be better off not in those homes. Like the kid that ended up shooting up one of the schools that had the shirt Darwin Rolls or whatever. That there has to be some balance, no matter what it was. And I'm not saying that, but somehow that kid got off balance, and he probably would have been better off even if he was in another evolutionary, Darwinistic house. Something about his parents and that teaching, whatever.
But couldn't you just say that we're teaching them what you call misinformation, as opposed to calling us child abusers, which to me trivializes the term child abuse. And, because abuse is something that a parent does consciously, right? And if you're teaching evolution and you believe in evolution, why would that be abuse if you actually believe in it?
Oh, well, and then that doesn't help your position, because there's people that think that, I don't think extremes like burning their kid with a cigarette, but, overly disciplining is perfectly fine. And yeah, that's still abuse. So yeah, that's just one that I've seen so many people that,
I mean, can you see how I was upset by that, though, Dan, when you're lumping me in with somebody that is burning somebody with a cigarette?
Yeah, different degrees. And that's a good point, too, because that's where I kind of like, and the first time you guys asked me to apologize was because Jen Anderson said, ask Dan why he called BBM a child molester. Oh, well, the M word. And it's like, why I wouldn't, and publicly, I've never even thought of you like that, BBM. I never, even the, beating kids, you just seem like so
I haven't laid a hand on somebody since the 7th grade in a fight, except to, in love.
I think I was like 5th grade. Yeah. 6th grade. That went over my head. So, no. And so, yeah. So Big Bad Mama, I've never thought of you even, raising your hand to a kid. Your personality just doesn't seem like, you seem like almost a smart robot. I'm not saying not a bad thing.
Thank you.
You're yeah. I mean, it is. I wish I was more like that. I get emotional, and it takes a while to get you emotional. But yeah. So on the record, I've never thought of you that way.
Okay,
I
we'll
do have a problem. Yeah.
We'll let it go with that. We'll let it go with that.
Yeah. But if somebody can ask, I don't even know who Jen Anderson is. It seems like a ghost account. But
no, Jen's a real person. I think he's from Denmark.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that might be why he But
right.
Then where did he hear it? Because I hadn't heard it.
Well, this was the day after you had written that in the chat, I think. And then I probably called you out on it that day that Jen's made the comments as well.
Okay, and so
it's not a big deal what Jen's did.
Oh, because if he spoke English, it was good at English, yeah, that's to me, because that's like you're saying, you know, that the child abuse, I'm dumbing it down. To me, it's like a clicker in my head, though. But you know, the other ones, the P and the M, that's like I'll take your head off. You know, so that's where if it was like you that said that, you know, that I said the one.
No,
thing,
I didn't say that you said that.
No, and I know you, but I said if you said that, I'd go after you. It's like, why would you say that? You know, because I know you and I think have the same, same. The degrees, and Mark said it wasn't the different, or it was the same degree abuse and the M and P word, but it's like no, I think it's like
no, he didn't say that. He said he would react the same to both, but he didn't say that they were both on the same level.
Okay, that's true.
I was there for that. I was there for that conversation.
That's right. I kept asking, and I tried to ask the other way, and he might not just have understood.
No, he said as a father he would react the same to both of those.
But I tried to ask him if it was just, you know, out there, but I guess I didn't do it.
But he ended up answering your question if you go back and listen.
Oh, okay. No,
after I said something about, you know, there's different degrees, and he did agree that there's different degrees. He just would respond the same way to both. But.
Okay, good. Yeah, personally. Oh yeah, I mean, you know, don't touch our kids, you know, and women were even worse. They'll do it. I will just. Like Mark said, it'll be done right in a second. I'm afraid a lot of women would be nice and slow. But anyway, that's just me making a joke. Well, okay, so you agree with me. Very cool. Well, I got to get out of here. I got a flat tire. I got to deliver to a tire shop. But
they're having a show.
Who is?
Oh, and sorry, I didn't mean to start or anything.
Oh, Aiden. I mean, sorry. Aiden be mad. I called Gigi Aiden. And you guys know it's nothing. I wasn't dissing you, Gigi. I love you. No, I love you both. And I have fun fighting with Aiden. I hope anyway, that's a different story. But Gigi, no, you're great. You have this, you know, you have this show that I can come on. I can try to explain myself. You know, and it's fun. I just wish you guys would like leave Aiden to like just a sentence or two, you know, instead of so long. And I actually apologize because I was just playing. I was back at 20-year-old being Aiden too, and so that was obnoxious. And I'm sorry, Deviant, because I should have just let him. I should have gone and, you know, brushed my teeth or something, because that's about how long it takes, about 15 minutes to do that, and that's about how long he talks. But anyway, that was good.
Okay, good talking to you.
All right, thanks, DJ.
Take care.
Bye, everybody. God's best.
Bye.
How do I get out of here? DJ, can you just kick me out?
Okay.
And then I'll complain that you kicked me out. Just joking.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Okay. We worked it all out.
Oh,
that's good.
Logan, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.